Shri Guru Charitre, Chapter 36, Achara Dharma. The rituals explained in this chapter needs to be understood in the context of the time when they were written. This chapter describes the plight of the Brahmin woman who went for Paranna Bhojana. Guru Nath explains to the Brahmin woman and her husband some of the Vedic injunctions. Namdarak was all raptures and joy listening to the glorious narrative of Guru Leelas from the lips of Siddhamuni. He said he was at a loss to know how he could express his gratitude to Siddhamuni, who had come to him like the rising sun, dispelling his ignorance and filling him with the light of wisdom. He said that his thirst and yearning to hear more and more of the Guru Leelas was insatiably increasing. Siddhamuni, pleased with the yearning of Namdarak, continued his narrative. Ganagadpur had become a great center of pilgrimage because of Sri Narasimha Saraswati's stay there and his association with the place. Thousands of people from different parts of the country started pouring in daily, seeking Guru Nath's darshan and blessings and for redress of their afflictions of the body, mind and spirit through his divine grace. In Ganagapur at that time there lived a Brahmin who was very devout. He never accepted gifts from any. He never used to go to Samaradhana where cooked food, that is Paranna, was fed. He used to maintain himself and his family on dry alms, that is cereals offered to him. His wife had a bad temper. She used to tell him every day that he should go accept Paranna, which would relieve their troubles to a large extent. Every day many people used to come to Ganagapur and perform Samaradhana. At Samaradhana, couples are invited for bhojan. At Samaradhana, sumptuous feast is given with several preparations and delicacies. The Brahmin's wife felt that her husband's obstinacy was depriving them of proper and even minimal food when it was a plenty around. But the husband was never in an agreeable mood to their going to Samaradhana feasts. Once the woman went to Sri Narasimha Saraswati and requested him to tell her husband to change his mind and to accept invitations to Samaradhana Bhojan. To this, Guru Nath agreed and prevailed upon the Brahmin to comply with the wishes of his wife once at least. How could anyone disobey Guru Nath's command? When the Brahmin and his wife went to the Samaradhana feast, a strange thing happened. The woman had an obnoxious vision of dogs and swine hovering around her plate of food, and she felt a revulsion and nausea to partake of the food, though it was lavishly served and was rich with many delicacies. She got up from her seat and asked her husband also to leave from there all at once and to come out along with her. She, along with her husband, came to Sri Narasimha Saraswati and told him about the repulsive and nauseating vision which she had at the Samaradhana gathering. Sri Narasimha Saraswati said that it was very much wrong on her part to have forced her husband through him, that is, through Sri Narasimha Saraswati, to change his principle and observance. The woman prayed to Guru Nath and also her husband that she should be forgiven for what she had done. As the Brahmin was feeling very sorry for having broken his rule, Guru Nath told him that he was not to worry about it any longer. No sin would touch him on that account because he did not go there of his own volition, and that in the exceptional cases Brahmins can accept Paranna from others' houses. The Brahmin prayed to Guru Nath to enlighten him in which houses one can partake food and in which houses it is to be avoided. Guru Nath explained about this in detail as follows. There are many disciplines regarding acceptance of food. One can take food in Guru's house without any hesitation. So also in the maternal uncle's house, in the father-in-law's house, in the houses of brothers and in the houses of pious people. If there was no Brahmin priest available at the time of Shraddha ceremony, one can attend and take food, but on the next day he should do Gayatri Japa. Anyway, food is most holy. It should be taken in the houses of pious and sattvic people and after taking God's name. Homes of evil-minded people are to be avoided. Food is not to be accepted from greedy people, people who are not doing their duty to their family, people who are proud and egoistic, people who indulge always in self-praise and talking ill of others, people who are ill-tempered, people of immoral conduct, people who are addicted to drinking wine and other intoxicating drinks, people who delight in harming others, people who regularly live on parana only, etc. If we accept food from such people, their sins will affect us. Through the food we take, the gunas flow into us. The food should promote sattva guna, that is, a pure, cool and enlightened temperament in us. The Brahmin requested Guru Nath to instruct him on Achara Dharma, that is, the code of conduct for Brahmins. Guru Nath said that Parasara Smriti laid down in great detail under Achara Samhita the code of conduct for the Brahmins, who are the spiritual custodians of the community and the society. The Achara Samhita is something like the Bhagavad Gita for the Brahmins. It is, so to say, like a fifth Veda. It lays down daily disciplines to be strictly observed by a Brahmin from dawn to dusk. The disciplines laid down are as under, and whoever meticulously observes them will attain everything and will never suffer from any want nor will ever be subject to grief. Early morning prayers. The Brahmin should rise in the early serene hours of the morning, which is called Brahma Muhurta, that is between 3:30 am to 5 am, during which time the sattva quality will be prevalent in the atmosphere. As soon as one rises from the bed, he should remember his Guru first and offer mentally his obeisance to him. He should then offer his obeisance to God and the deities, that is, the Trimurtis, the Sun God, the Navagrahas, etc. Then to the sages, the Pitra Devatas, and to the parents. He should not let the mind wander away. He will have to dwell his thoughts on Guru and God only for some time at least. He is advised to have first the darshan of a cow, that is, Gomata, before he does anything else. Achamana. After offering obeisance to the cow, he should gargle his mouth and then do achamana by sipping in a little water. Achamana is to be practiced many times during the day. If there is no water available for achamana, if he just touches his right ear, that is said to be sufficient. The right ear is said to be the seat of Agni, that is, fire god. Varuna, god of seas and the air, Surya, Chandra, and the other deities. Achamana is to be done at the time of taking food and while retiring to bed also. Achamana is believed to endow longevity as well as good health. Achamana is to be done taking the Guru's or God's name and chanting the appropriate mantras. Vadhyaya or Vedic chant or meditation. Till sunrise and before he goes out for his morning ablutions, he will have to devote either to chanting of prayers, recital of Vedic mantras or meditation. Morning ablutions. After dawn, one should attend to the calls of nature. At that time, he should keep silent. He should then clean his mouth and teeth. The twigs of trees which are to be used for cleaning the teeth are listed. After this, one should take his bath. It cleanses and refreshes the body and drives away laziness. It endows strength, longevity, intellectual brilliance, etc. It cleanses away the effect of bad dreams and also drives away poverty and all ills. Brahmacharis are to bathe in the mornings and all householders both in the morning and in the afternoon, and the ascetics in the mornings, in the afternoons, as well as in the evenings. That is, all 3 times during the day. Whatever water one would be using for bath, he should deem it as the waters of the holy Ganga flowing down from the feet of Hari. and which would endow both physical as well as mental and spiritual purity. When water is not available or when one is sick, one should recite the Apohista mantra and do marjana 3 times. This is called mantra snana. Doing Vishnu Nama Sankirtan is called Manasika Snana. Taking darshan of the Guru or sprinkling the water after washing the feet of the parents is called Tirtha Snana. On the days of Vratas, Shrads, or after the birth ceremonies or death ceremonies in the family, on the 10th day of the pollution period, hot water bath is prohibited. On auspicious occasions like marriage or other functions, cold water bath is prohibited. In flowing water of a river, one should face opposite the current, and in tanks, etc., one should face towards east and then take the bath. If one takes oil bath on Sundays, it could lead to disease. On Mondays, it could lead to draining away of the energy. On Tuesdays, it could lead to death. On Wednesdays, it endows wealth, that is Lakshmi Prapti. On Thursdays and Fridays, it would cause the impairment and danger to the health of the children, Santana Nashtam. And on Saturdays, it brings in all auspiciousness, health and wealth. Housewives are not to take hair bath daily. On the days when one has taken oil bath, he is not to apply bhasma. On all other days and at all other times, he should necessarily apply bhasma on his forehead. Gopi Chandan is to be applied by those devoted to the form of Hari. It is called Urdhva Pundra, that is, vertical markings, and is equally meritorious like Bhasma Dharana, which is to be applied in horizontal lines, that is, Tripundra. Whoever applies both Bhasma and Gopi Chandan, he is equally dear to both Hari and Hara. Sandhya Vandana. Sandhya Vandana, which is done in the very early morning hours before the stars disappear in the sky, is most ideal, that is, Uttama. The Sandhya Vandana done before sunrise, even though the stars have set, is of intermediate merit, Madhyama. The Sandhya done after the sunrise is of the lowest merit, Adhama. The evening Sandhya done before the sun has set is most meritorious, Uttama. The Sandhya done after the sun has been set but before the stars have appeared is of intermediate merit, Madhyama. The Sandhya done after the stars have appeared is of the lowest merit, Adhama. The afternoon Sandhya also has to be done at the right time. Arghya. There is much significance behind the Arghya Pradhan rite. There are said to be 33 crores demons, that is, evil forces called Mandehas, who try to block the way of the sun. The Arghya Pradhan done together with the chant of Gayatri Mantra drives away or destroys the demons and helps to clear the way for the sun. The sin caused by the destruction of the demons is absolved by the chant of the Asavaditya Brahma Mantra while doing the Pradakshina. All the 3 times of the day, that is mornings, afternoons and evenings, the Gayatri Mantra has to be chanted 108 times at least each time. Chanting it 1,000 times absolves for many of the ordinary sins. Chanting it 10 million times annihilates all the sins. Gayatri Mantra is the very essence of all the Vedic hymns. It is the most potent and protecting mantra. If any interruption comes for whatever reason when doing the chanting, the right ear has to be touched. In case one is obliged to talk with anybody while doing the japa, he will have to recite the Tadvishtoha mantra. The chanting has to be done silently and mentally. Aupasan and the Pancha Yagnas. After performing the Sandhya Vandana, Aupasan has to be necessarily done. Brahma Yagna, Vaisavadeva, etc. will also have to be done by the Brahmin. Tarpan. To appease and please the Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, Devarishis and Pitrus, Tarpan has to be offered. On Deepavali, 3 palmfuls of water, that is oblations, have to be offered to Lord Yama, Chitragupta, etc. to get rid of the troubles caused by the deceased, sins, Shani, etc. It will avoid premature death and endo longevity. On the Krishnashtami day in the month of Magha, Tarpan has to be offered to Bhishma. Thereby, all the sins committed during the entire year will be absolved. Wearing of the sacred thread is obligatory for a Brahmin. One who discards or does not wear the sacred thread loses his Brahmin rights. The thread is the sacred bond linking man to God. It is symbolic to Gayatri, the eternal protector. These disciplines is inviolable for a Brahmin. Whoever follows these injunctions and observes the disciplines will never suffer misery. He will enjoy all joys and happiness. Unfortunately, in this Kali Yuga, as Brahmins have digressed away and have given up these disciplines, they are suffering all sorts of troubles and untold misery. Brahmins must keep up their spiritual heritage. They must keep up their dignity by the purity of their conduct. Then alone they will be worthy to be called as Brahmins and can help the Brahminic culture to survive and Dharma to be sustained in the world. Jai Gurudeva.